Welcome to the Youth POV podcast with Ty Castillo
and Lily Johnson.
Our goal is to help youth know God and make Him known while living in a messy world. Join us as we discuss various topics like walking with Jesus, sharing your faith, trials and temptations, and so much more, all from a youth perspective.
So let's go!
What is going on, guys? Welcome back, or welcome to the Youth POV podcast. I'm Ty.
I'm Lily, and we're so glad you're tuning in with us today. Shout out to our producer Lauren as well, who's behind the wall working everything out for us.
Hi guys.
Awesome.
Yeah, so glad you're here with us again,
I
helping
know.
us do everything. This is her second time, so.
Yep. So she's been doing an amazing job. Once again, shout out to her.
Yeah.
Guys, this is our third episode for the Youth POV podcast. How amazing is that?
Yes, ma'am.
Dude, it feels like just yesterday it was the first episode.
I know, we've been going.
Yeah, now we're here again.
Yeah, I'm super excited.
It's awesome. Dude, there's been so much encouragement. You know, people coming up to me saying, like, Ty, amazing job. And, you know, like, I really appreciate the encouragement. So if you guys ever see us and you enjoyed the episode, like, let us know. We really appreciate the support.
Yeah, thank you guys. So many people come up, just from the church just saying how much they like it. So, yeah, we're glad you guys are enjoying it. We're really enjoying making these and, having these conversations as well. So, also, if you guys have, like, something you'd want us to talk about or, like, look into, like, definitely let us know. We'd love to hear what you guys think, all the constructive criticism and everything you got.
Oh, yeah. No, it's even amazing to see, like, the different varies of the age groups of people.
Yeah.
Because I've had some old people tell me, and they're like, I listen to your podcast. And then there's some, like, middle-aged people, right? And you got some of those college people. And then we have some of our very own youth, which is awesome.
Yeah, some people, like, I didn't even, like, think would listen have been listening, too. And they've said they really liked it. So I'm like, that's great.
So shout out to you, all the listeners.
Thanks, yeah.
You guys have been a big support. This isn't a show without you guys.
Yeah,
so.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah. Well, let's get into our weekly or
every episode segment.
Every episode question.
Yep.
Lily, what was your Jesus moment of the week?
My Jesus moment of the week. Well, so I'm taking the Berean class, Yeah. Actually, you weren't even there on Sunday.
Oh, you're taking that? I didn't even realize that.
I won't be there this Sunday, though, because I'm on worship.
Oh, I was on worship last week.
Oh, bummer. Okay, anyways. So, yeah, I'm taking that. We're doing the New Testament, and I was reading the chapter 1 before we had a class on Sunday, and we were reading about how God, like, worked through even things in the Old Testament to, like, work to the coming of Jesus and that kind of thing, and like working through Caesar and, like, doing all that kind of thing. And I usually have, like, worship music going in the background, whenever I'm doing that thing, just to, like, set the tone, just so it's like, yeah. Anyways, and I was literally writing down in the book, "The Lord works everything for good." And literally, as I wrote that, "Good Plans" by Red Rocks Worship came on. And I'm not even kidding you. Literally, every time I, like, read something like that, that song always comes on. Like, recently, it's always come on. And I think I maybe said this before, I don't know. But, like, the theme that I kind of got at the beginning of the year is he's going to do big things this year. And so, like, it's just, like, a crazy reminder, like, every single time. Like, he has good plans. And it's always so encouraging. Like, especially these last, like, couple weeks, like, I've been really, like, looking and, like, at the meaning of the lyrics. Like, I told Ty this other day, like, reckless love, like, the chorus, like, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Like, when you, like, just take a second and actually, like, think about that, like, it's just so powerful and encouraging. Powerful. And obviously, like, reckless love is, like, a really known song, but even those songs, like, just some of the lyrics are like, oh my gosh, it hits so hard. So, like, especially in the Good Plans, like, he calms the storm inside of me. Like, if I know my Father, I know he has good plans. Just those lyrics just make me so, like, happy and just fill me with so much joy and peace and just, like, so much encouragement. So, Yeah.
Dude, the amount of times like good plans has come on and you're thinking in your head, you're like, oh man, like what do I do? I don't know. Or God, I'm in this situation. What do I do? Or I'm blanking. And then you're like, worship music's just playing or whatever. And also you're listening to the song Good Plans, but you don't realize it. And then all of a sudden he has good plans. And you're like, bro, every single time.
Yeah, especially like this past like week, like my family's been sick, whatever. It's just been so chaotic and overwhelming and like blah. But like, when the song came on, it's like, oh, like he has good plans, like it's gonna be okay, like we just have to trust. And it was so encouraging.
It's amazing that we have a God that has good plans. That he doesn't have like evil plans, because the Bible talks about this. How he's not a God that's like, I want to punish you,
Yeah.
But it's just like amazing that he's like, man, I have good plans for you. And it's like our choice whether we're gonna accept those plans and listen to them, right? So
it's just so encouraging too, like when maybe you are doubting. Like I know this past week, like I was praying so hard for like no one else in my family to get sick, and they did, and like I almost was like kind of bummed out and like upset with God almost, like why did they get sick, kind of. And obviously that's like a small comparison to like the big things that we could be doubting from, but
right.
And then just like listening to those lyrics again, like he has good plans, like it's gonna be okay, like it's fine. So.
And sometimes my wonder is like, does he make these things happen to us to protect us from something?
Yeah.
Right? You never know. Maybe because some people in your family are sick, it caused someone to stay home, and there could have been a car crash or something.
Yeah.
Like there's so many things that I'm just like, okay, even though I don't know if that was gonna happen, I'm gonna trust that God had a reason for it.
Or even maybe he did just use this to like help me realize I need to trust him more, like, yeah, he has a reasoning and we don't always need to understand it, but it's encouraging just to know that it's okay.
He has good plans.
Yeah, he has good plans.
Gosh, yes.
I know. Okay, what about you? What is your Jesus moment of the week?
Well, my Jesus moment of the week, it's been kind of like going on. I started this I kind of like felt this like moment where I was feeling just a little bit distant from God about like a little over a week ago. And, I got this like idea like, okay, you know what, I'm not really like journaling everything down that I'm doing. And I have another like a journal where it's for my miracles, right? If I see, or for God's miracles, what he does, and I see it and I'm like, okay, I'm going to write that down. Okay. So I have a specific journal for that. Yeah. Any big things that he's done. But I don't really, that's not like a daily one. I just write that once in a while. And I thought, okay, well, I'm going to try to start journaling, okay? So I got a journal, and I started, I wrote down what I want in my day, in the beginning of the day. Then I write down my, look at what I get for my devotions, some verses, trying to explain the verses, what they mean to me. And then at the end of the day, I write down what went well, what went bad, what I could have done better, and if I accomplished the goal that I set in the beginning of the day. And, starting to journal my day, I've noticed in this, like, just this first week of doing it, for one, been feeling so much closer to God by doing that. Two, I'm remembering more scripture, which is, like, that's the importance of taking notes, guys. I'm serious. It works. And then, like, I've been feeling like I'm remembering, okay, that went well in my day. What can I do better tomorrow? And so that's really been my Jesus moment, is journaling, and what it's kind of helped me hit certain goals. Yeah. So, I mean,
and it helps you like look back, even on like your miracles thing, like when you are, like maybe doubting or, just like in a dry season where like you don't really know like what he's doing, like you can go back and look, it's like, oh, I wrote this down because this happened to me. Like he is good. He is still working. Like look at all the things he's done before.
Yeah. Do you journal?
Yeah. I mean, not necessarily like you do. Like I take notes for my devotions and stuff. And recently I've gotten into like, I want to get like a specific book for like prayer journaling, writing down like just like a letter to Jesus basically. Like, so yeah, that's something I want to start doing more. But yeah.
It was cool because this week actually, Pastor Mike, he talked about journaling, and I was like, look at that. I literally started doing that. I even started, I used to take notes on my phone, right, in church. Yeah. But I stopped doing that because I noticed I don't really look at them, and I was like, I don't, like, they don't help me. And so I started doing like a literal, like, writing down church notes. Yeah. Even the things I already know, like writing that down, and I'm like,
it can make you realize other things too. Right.
and it kind of just it gives that better found knowledge. Like okay, now I know. Like I'm
you're
for
reading
sure.
it, you're writing it, like it's imprinted in your memory, kind of thing.
Yeah. So journaling has helped me. I encourage you listeners, guys, like start journaling somewhat. You don't have to do it the same way I do it, but finding a way, like I don't know, it's really helped me. So
Yeah.
an encouragement to everyone listening.
No, yeah, that's great.
For sure. So we kind of got a little bit of story to share with you guys today.
Yeah.
We're talking about friendships, right? Where are we sitting with in areas of life, because determining
Our communities,
right, the people around you,
Yeah.
they'll affect how you live your life.
Yeah.
So we're going to kind of share a little bit of a story that happened between me and Lily a bit over a year ago. Oh no, it's under a year, something like that.
Yeah, probably like this time.
Yeah, no, it was
April,
like
probably
it was
like
April.
May of last year. May and June.
Something like that. Yeah. So I mean,
Dang, that's kind of recent though.
Yeah,
like, that's not even that long time ago.
It feels
Look
like it
at us
wasn't that
now.
long ago, but yeah, no, so much God's done in this last year.
Yeah.
But to explain basically what went on is, I was on my walk with God, right? I was still trying to figure out this balance, like with God and my devotions and the people around me, right? Because in my past, I used to have a lot of friends around me. I hang out with some people that basically led me to do wrong things, and so as I was getting closer to God, he convicted me. He's like, you gotta like those friends can't be in your life because they're really dictating how you live, and so. There's some people in my life that God was just removing, and I was like, okay, that's like I'm like allowing that to happen because I'm just like that's what I think is going to help me grow and get closer to God, and that was my goal. I wanted to get closer to God.
Kind of like a fresh start, just clearing everything out.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I was looking at my life and looking at people, and I'm like, I don't know what caused me. I don't remember. We were. It's some small fight or something we had.
Yeah, I was thinking about, we've always just had, before.
Right.
I don't know what to call our friendship now, but, before, I guess, we'd always just have stupid arguments over,
I know.
they were, stupid,
the dumbest things.
I don't even know, but, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know what was going on. I think I was, I might have, just had kind of a reset with God, and I was just not, I don't know what happened going on that day. I wish. See, this is what's so great about journaling. I wish I would have journaled this stuff down, what I was thinking, because some of it I don't remember what I was thinking or what was going on around me. But kind of what happened is we got into this small fight thing, and I was like, well, she's not helping me with my relationship with God. So I told her, I was like, yeah, I don't want to be friends with you anymore. I don't want to hang out around you I don't think she thought insanely much about it. She's probably just confused.
Yeah, okay, because we got into some stupid argument and the next day I was like, okay, bro, I'm sorry, let's get over it. And then he was like, yeah, so I don't think we should be friends anymore. I was like, wait, what? Yeah, I was just confused because I feel like it was out of the blue, but yeah, I don't know, I was just confused. I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm not gonna be annoying and push you to,
Right. And as and this story is mainly on me. I'm a huge drama, I guess.
Well, no.
That's what it seemed like. But yeah, no, so I basically was like, okay, I'm not being friends with you anymore. We stopped talking, I guess, a lot. And from then on, I didn't really realize how close of friends we actually were, and how much she actually brought to my life, because when I would be in the stupidest just sitting down and I don't know what to do, I'd text Lily some stupid question. Or
I was actually during when we were not friends, it was the homeschool co-op play, and you did the backflip off of the stage
thingy,
or you did a flip or whatever, and I was literally so happy, and I was like, oh my gosh, and I was like, no, I can't text him, hey, we're not friends anymore. I was just so bummed because I was just so happy. You look like you were having so much fun.
Yeah, that was so hard. I don't even know. I just thought, okay, I already said it. I can't go back to her. I can't say Lily, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have tried to kick you out of my life, because that'd be stupid. That'd be not manly in some sense. And that's like, the mindset. I was like, I can't do that. She doesn't help me with my relationship with God. And so, that really pushed me away to kind of a dark spot. And then at one point, going down this road, we're not friends for let's say I think it was a month after.
Yeah, it wasn't that long, honestly, like a month or two.
Well, even but in that time, right, that matter of a month, I completely fell away from God. I wasn't even, I actually got to a point where I was like, I don't want anything to do with you, God, because my life was falling apart. I fell back into, depression, anxiety started taking over my life again. And, I just got down to this really dark spot, and it felt like probably one of the worst places I've been in, out of my whole life. And so I was like, dude, I don't know what to do. And then kids camp came around, and but before that, I felt like the thing. I was like, I need to tell Lily that I'm sorry that I said that and talk to her, but I was too scared to put myself together to do it. And so kids camp came around, and I know God was like, it's like you gotta talk to her about that. And so I'm like, I don't want to. I don't know how. And not only that, you got closer, you and Owen started dating, so I thought, Owen's probably gonna think that I'm.
That was so funny, just that whole thing.
And then, yeah, no, but we ended up. I ended up texting her. At one point, I got the courage to text her. I said, "Hey, can you meet me?"
Okay, wait. Before you go into that,
yeah.
Before even kids camp, there was a moment. It was the co-op, potluck, whatever, the end of the year thing, and you were wearing the shirt that I got you.
Yeah.
And I think I was like, oh hey, I like your shirt, just trying to be nice or whatever. And you're like, yeah, the coolest person got it for me or something. I was like, oh yeah, bro, what? You literally hate me. What are you talking about? I was so confused. And then we weren't really texting or anything, but in person, you were acting like we were friends again. So I was like, what is happening? And then you texted me, at kids camp, ask if we could talk. I was like, yeah, sure. At first, I had no idea what you wanted to talk about, and I didn't even think you were gonna follow through with it. Not because you wouldn't, but just because we were busy. It was kids camp. We were all exhausted. We have so many other things going on. I didn't think we were actually gonna do it. And yeah, I didn't until I was walking there. I was like, oh wait, is this about that? I was like, oh boy.
And yeah, no, I was literally shaking when I went over. I was behind the goggle pits for 15 minutes. I was literally just there. I'm just shaking my butt off, and I'm just okay, what am I gonna say? What am I gonna say? What do I say? And she ended up coming back. She scared the heck out of me when she's it's pitch black, guys, and she comes up behind me.
You scared me too because you were sitting behind the goggle pit, and I walk over there, and there's no lights over there. There's only lights by the basketball hoop, which actually Lauren was over there.
She was.
Lauren was over there with Nemo, I think.
I thought that was Courtney.
No. It was Lauren.
Oh, was it?
It was Lauren and Nemo, and they were playing basketball.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that was so funny.
We can't go into that drama.
Yeah, we can't.
but no, it was definitely something. So she comes up she scares me. I probably scare her too. And so right away, I think it was I was trying to get it out, but I didn't know what to say.
Yeah.
And I kind of started talking to her, telling her, I'm since I tried to kick you out of my life, my life has gotten worse. And she actually, fun fact, I was, well, not really fun fact, I guess, but, I shared my testimony a little bit, about me dealing with some things like porn and stuff like that. And I shared it with some people, but it was only guys. And so I finally ended up I was well, they're going to hear my testimony at one point. So I told her a little bit about it. And I don't know what that was, but when I did let her know about that, there's something inside of me it felt like somewhat of a relief that okay, my friends or my friend knows what I went through now. So I don't know, that was kind of a spark of boldness, especially in me, of what kind of helped me get out of my comfort zone. But from that even, I was telling her about this stuff, and I could have just told her stuff, and she could have been okay, whatever, or been I don't want to be friends with you anymore. You just said all this stuff. You're you don't even want to be around me anymore. But no, something that she said that I think if she didn't say it, it really would have messed up the rest of my I don't think I would be in the same spot I am with God right now, is she said, I forgive you.
I was going to say, wait, what did I say?
No, well, yeah, no.
No, yeah.
But I was like, I was not sure how you're going to respond. I was like, you know, I was thinking of like
The worst
trillion different situations.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, when you said I forgive you, I was like, I'm telling you, I was like, what? She forgives me?
Well, like in my mind, like even just like thinking back to it, I'm like, obviously I do forgive you, but like I'm like,
Right.
what else would I have said? Like I don't,
Right.
like I don't really know. Like I feel like, yeah, I don't know. I don't even know like how I don't even remember like how I felt. I was kind of shocked.
Right.
Like not about like your testimony or anything. I mean, obviously I didn't really know, but
Right, of course.
I don't know. I was just like shocked. Like I was just like talking like that. Like I don't know. I was just kind of shocked. I'm like, wow, like he's really like grown up. Like I don't know. I guess you were just like really mature about it and like respectful and like I don't know. I guess it did show like the growth that like you were trying to achieve. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's just it was just an awesome thing, because after that, you know, like we started like I was trying to get into the thing about like you know, she started texting more, and you know that started, you know, we started growing in friendship. But the thing that was different is we started talking about God a little more.
Yeah, I feel like after that, even like before, like when Ty initially like, kind of like broke it off, like I don't really think I was in the best place spiritually either. You know, like obviously, he was going through like harder things and whatever, but
Right.
I obviously wasn't, you know, where I was today, at least in my relationship with Jesus. So I feel like after that, our relationship became based on like God. Like it was like since then, it's literally been like our main topic of conversation.
I know.
Like, yeah.
Like everything, yeah. And it's slowly like from that one step of faith, I really think, because this is something that I encourage you listeners to, like forgiving someone for what they did, right?
Yeah.
When someone wrongs you or they do something, right? And of course my thing wasn't horrible towards her. Like it wasn't like something that would ruin her forever.
Yeah.
But when like it really like affected me and I did something wrong to her and she says, I forgive you, that was huge. So if any of you guys listeners, like, you know, there's someone like you gotta like tell someone that you forgive them, or someone's asking for forgiveness, like forgiving is huge. You might not even realize where it might lead.
Yeah, we'll definitely go into that in a little bit too. Like the kind of friends you want to have are the forgiving like ones and stuff like that. But yeah, even they say like forgiveness is like for yourself, you know, to like let go of that. But it's like Ty said, like the words, like knowing the confirmation that he was forgiven by me and, you know, the other people that he's apologized to or whatever, like it gave him a sense of peace and relief and, you know, even boldness, knowing that, you know, what you did, like putting yourself out there to apologize like that, it wasn't wasted, you know. So yeah, it can be a big learning like opportunity for you and for other people too.
And you're even just seeing like how our relationship is different. Like I feel like
I'm glad we went through that.
Yeah, I know. It's
so much better.
It's the thing that like a saying that is so common in Christianity. What the enemy used or meant for evil,
yes,
God used for good.
Yeah, amen. That's so true.
The devil tried to he's like, hi, I got you. Now your life's gonna go down in this bad area, but then God's like, nope, it's gonna do the opposite. They're about to. So
I know it's literally not even a year later, and like look,
I know,
like we literally have a podcast together. Like,
I know that's
it's insane, and I feel like now, like since like that was probably one of the hardest conversations like you've probably ever had, even like me. And so even that also helps other areas and other relationships we have. But like now, like if we need to have a hard conversation, like it's probably easier than that. Like there's been times throughout this past year where we've been like, hey, like that probably wasn't okay. Like you can grow in that area. And it's not as like personal, I guess, because like we know we're only doing it to help each other and not harm. Whether before, you know, if we would have said that, we would have been like, oh, Ty's being such a jerk, he's trying to, you know, but like now it's like, no, like he's trying to help me grow, he's trying to help me be more like Jesus, you know, like, and like we've had some of those things, and they have helped us. So
Yeah.
what the enemy meant for evil, like he definitely made it better.
Yeah. So, we're just going to talk a little bit more about different friends later.
Yeah.
But with that, we're going to merge into the break. We'll see you guys in a second.
Stepping aside from the episode really quick, I wanted to share with you guys some things that we are connected with as the Youth POV podcast. In Matthew chapter 18, verse 20, Jesus says, "For where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there I am with them." And throughout the Bible, it talks about the importance of community. So if you're not sure who this Jesus guy is, or if you don't have a Christian community, Maranatha Assemblies of God in Forest Lake is a great church to get plugged into, with Bible studies, leadership teams, and so much more for all different age groups. For more information, you can go to realchurch.org. Now, back to the episode. What is up, guys? Welcome back from the break. We're excited to get back into it. That first half was definitely good. Yeah, good conversations. But now we're going to kind of look into, well, you want good friends. Like, what kind of friends, what kind of people do you want around you? I feel like it's an obvious question, but, like, not at the same time.
Right. Like, there's like, it's surprising the people you're around. You'll be like, oh, I'm not going to be like them. I'm not going to be with them. And then all of a sudden, like, next thing you know, you're doing what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. For one thing we kind of want to, like, look at is, like, what, like, obviously we want friends that are good people, nice to us, whatever. But, like, what does biblical friendship look like? What do biblical friends look like? What can we be looking for in people? What can we be as friends, like, just like that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different things, right? Like a friend that's going to be a biblical friend. They're going to be loyal. They're going to be selfless. They're going to be encouraging you to grow. They're going to challenge you. And that's what most people push away is they're like, oh, I don't like them because he called me out on this.
Yeah, we kind of talked about that before the break. Like, we have had those conversations like, hey, like, maybe you should, like, think about this or something like that. And, in the moment, obviously no one likes being called out, I guess.
Right, of course.
But I don't even think that's the right word for it. I feel like it's more, I don't know what the word for it is, but, like, they're not calling you out. They're just, a good biblical friend wants to.
They're trying to help you represent Jesus.
Yeah, they're holding you accountable
better.
to the expectation of Jesus. And obviously, if you feel uncomfortable with that, then that's something I think you need to work on with Jesus, because we all should be, trying to grow like Jesus. And especially if it's someone that you love and trust and that they are, have a good relationship with Jesus, and they're, like, telling you something, like, hey, like, I think you need to be a little bit more forgiving or, patient with people and stuff like that, then it's definitely something you should, take seriously and maybe do some self-reflection in your quiet time and listen to them, because, like I said, like, if you know their heart, then hopefully their heart is they just want to help you be better, and they should be doing it with love. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard. I've tried to, some of my other Christian friends, like, I've tried to call them out on things before. I try to call Lily out on some things, trying to help her, and you gotta be careful. Like us, when you're trying to be a biblical friend, right? You're trying your best, because
no one's perfect,
right?
Yeah,
there's gonna be times where you're gonna come off unloving, right? When you're doing it, you're gonna come off really strict. So if you are right trying to call someone out on something, it's really important to do it in a loving way. Yeah,
loving. That's, like, the big thing that we want to emphasize. I don't know what the verse says specifically, but 1 Thessalonians 5:11, build each other up, with love and kindness. Like, that should be where your heart is. That should be why you want to tell them about it, because you want to help them grow. But like Ty said, like, it's about how you do it, because Ty and I have had conversations about this before. Your heart might be in a good place, telling them they need to stop doing this, but, like, it's not going to help them. It's going to turn them away, depending on how you tell them.
Right.
So, like, your tone is just as important as, how they respond, like, that kind of thing. So.
Yeah. I mean, and it's super hard to find biblical friends, like true, like biblical friends. It's not going to be easy. It's not something you're going to walk into church and all of a sudden you're going to find a whole bunch of biblical friends. That's not normally the reality of it.
Yeah. We also have to keep in mind that, you want biblical friends and that kind of thing, but like no one is perfect, like we said. Yep. So
there's not going to be a perfect Christian friend.
Yeah, 100%. Like there's obviously people who might get it close, but they are going to let you down, and ultimately your best friend should be Jesus. So
I mean, like something even for me is like not setting a standard, right? And being like or like when I say standard, I mean like putting your standards too high.
Yeah.
Right? Because you can have somewhat of a standard being like, okay, you at least got to be like focused on God, right? But like you're not going to have like most of those Christian friends, right? You're not going to find one that's pretty easy, that's like loyal, that's selfless, that's loving to you, that's like trying to let you know when you're doing something wrong, that's going to encourage you in every like it's hard to find those friends, right?
Yeah. There's one thing I heard. It's like obviously you want to not necessarily judge the person, but mostly judge their fruit.
Right. Yeah.
Like what kind of fruit are they producing? What kind of atmosphere is there when they're around? Like, is it a great one with, Jesus conversations, like that kind of thing? Or is it one where you leave, feeling bad about yourself or down by yourself, or you like start to think these bad thoughts or, have ideas that you shouldn't have, like that kind of thing? Like how do you feel when you're around people? Like how is it impacting your life, your relationship with Jesus? Like the friends that you have should be leading you closer to Jesus. They shouldn't be, tearing your attention away from him. Oh yeah.
No, even like if you like want to find those biblical friends, the best way to do it, it's like magnets, right?
Yeah.
Biblical friends, like two biblical friends, they will attract. They're like you. If you're trying to be the best biblical friend you can, right? Yeah. You're trying to be encouraging to those people around you. You're trying to be loving and in all those various areas, and you're encouraging other people to grow in their walk with God, right? You're going to find those Christian friends because they're going to be like, you're a good Christian, like you're a good biblical friend, and I'm going to, like, that's who I want to be around.
Yeah.
So with being a biblical friend, right, or a good representation of Jesus, right? More people around you are going to be like, hey, I want you as a friend because you're helping me on my walk with God.
Yeah.
That's where you're going to find your biblical friends.
Yeah, and obviously there's a saying like opposites attract, but like I don't really think that's true, honestly. I mean, like maybe personality-wise, but if Jesus is your number one priority, then everything else will follow in that order. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah.
So in the sense that, opposite attract, like, I don't think that's true in the sense that, two biblical friends aren't going to attract two people that are absolutely non-biblical and, the opposite of all that kind of stuff. So it's like, yeah, if you want to have, whatever you value in your friends and your relationships, all that kind of thing, like, are you also holding that same standard for yourself? Yeah, because you will, if you want to have biblical friends, then you should be one.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like another thing that's super huge is prayer, right? Praying, God, like, please bring those people into my life. And one thing that even like I've had to work with is the patience of listening to God. He has good plans, right? And so like you're praying to God, you're asking him, hey, God, please bring these people into my life. I want more people. And I still pray that I say, God, bring more people into my life. I need those people that are going to hold me accountable in those situations. And God will give you opportunities.
Yeah.
He'll say like give you those opportunities to meet those people, but you got to take the step.
Yeah.
But also you might not find those biblical friends right away, right? It might.
And where you might think you will find them. Like his ways are higher than our ways. He doesn't do everything the way we think it's going to pan out. Usually, like, we'll have, at least for me personally, like, I'll think of something and then, like, I'll think of a scenario of how it might happen. And my mind usually gets stuck on that one scenario how I want it to happen. And it usually probably does not end up that way. And, like, we have to be okay with that. We have to trust him that he is working. Another thing is, like, maybe he is still working on something in you.
Right.
Before you can be a good biblical friend. And he wants us to be in community. He created us to be in community. So he's not going to withhold anything good from us, but we also have to be in the right place for those other people as well.
Yeah. And just once again, trusting God, right? He has good plans. So we gotta just trust God, right, in those situations.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part, is like, when
just
you're
being patient.
Right, asking God to bring those people in your life, right? They'll show up in the most random ways, but you're like, God, I'm just gonna trust you. Mm-hmm. I know that you have those good plans, right? I know you have the people in mind. Mm-hmm. So bring those people to me and help me, like, right, listen and be willing to take those steps.
Yeah, I know we talked a little bit before, like, if you guys don't know, Ty has a Bible study, and he's told me before, like, he's always praying for more people to come, to, like, learn and just have that good community and stuff. And obviously you can speak to this, I don't really know, but, it might be disappointing, 1 week you maybe don't have a lot of people come, but just trusting that, he's working on the people in the Bible study as well.
Right.
And, he will bring more people, and just like that kind of thing. Like, it can be hard when you're actually waiting. It's obviously easier said than done. But when you do just hold out, wait, and then you look back, a couple of months, a couple of years, you can always see in hindsight, like, oh, like, he was working there, like,
Yeah, looking back, you'll be like, oh, that's how he brought that person in my life.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what he was doing.
Or even looking back and be like, oh, like, I should have done that maybe. Like, I should have, said hi to that person. And, those realizations are okay, because the next time you'll know, oh, yeah, I should introduce myself. I should say hi. I should invite them, wherever. Like, if you're in school, obviously it's always a big thing. Like, be kind to everyone. Like, if there's someone sitting alone, go sit with them. Like, that kind of thing. Like, there's opportunities every day that you could, you might not become best friends with them, but who knows, maybe you're leading them closer to Jesus. Maybe, you're just that light for someone, that they really needed it. Like, you don't know. Like, it's not always about you sometimes,
Yeah. No, it's like once again, trying to be the biblical friend, be selfless, right?
Yeah.
And, focusing on those people around you.
Yeah, there's a Josiah Queen lyric. It's like, if I'm the only Bible that they read, let the words that they read be what you wrote. Like, if you're the only Bible that someone ever sees, like, whether you're trying to be friends with someone or not, like, you can always be the light. You can always be the Bible for someone. You can always be the love of Jesus for someone. And who knows, like, where that could lead,
Right, because people look at your life and they're like, a lot of times the way people will find Christianity, right, or they'll find Jesus is through other people.
Yeah.
When you see someone that's representing Jesus really well, you're like, man, I want to be a Christian.
Yeah, I want what they have, like.
And then when you see those people who are complete hypocrites, they say, I'm a Christian, and then they go, and then you're not at church, they're like being like, oh, Jesus loves you, like, dude, that's awesome, inviting, and then you go to school and they're just like complete buttheads to you, and they don't even listen, like those are the friends that push people away from Christianity. Yeah. So don't be one of those friends. Be the ones who are representing Christ the best you can. Yeah,
100%.
So, yeah, I mean, and also there's those friendships too, right? We kind of talked about this with what was going on with me trying to remove friends from my life, right? What about those people who aren't good for you, right? Those people who are a bad influence on you. What do we do in those situations?
Yeah, well, it doesn't even need to be your old friends. Like, it could be family members, just people around you. Probably the best example we could put for this is, Jesus, obviously perfect. But obviously all his other friends were not perfect, because obviously he's Jesus. But a really well-known quote or saying or whatever is, Jesus sat with the sinners, but he didn't sin with them. And he obviously, had boundaries. He had things that he implemented in his life, so that way he could have the strength and endurance and whatever to hold himself accountable. And, because he was tempted. Like, that's the thing that I think people forget. Like, he was completely human. He had the wants of humans, but he was tempted, like all these things, but he didn't. Like, he disciplined himself.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you don't, because, like, Jesus is a perfect example of this, right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't, you as a Christian, right, we don't have to not hang out with non-Christians.
Yeah, we're told to love everybody.
Right.
but we have to set boundaries.
Like the Pharisees even, right? I think a lot of people overlook the Pharisees because they're like, oh, I'd never be like the Pharisees, when a lot of us are.
Yeah.
But they even said, like, they're like, why are you sitting with the sinners? You're eating dinner with these tax collectors and thieves. And like, I just think that in our own life, right, as Christians, we look at other people and we're like, Lily, why are you sitting with, why are you hanging out with those people? They're not Christians. They're not loving. And I mean, like, I think thinking of our own lives, right, like we have to be an influence to those people around us, like those people who don't believe in God.
Yeah.
But those shouldn't be the main people, right?
Yeah, I was just going to say, Jesus, obviously, he was around a lot of different people, a lot of, people who would be considered bad and whatever.
Right.
But his closest group of people were still imperfect people, but they were all doing their best to grow closer to God.
Yeah.
Like, those were the people Jesus, surrounded himself with daily, was the people who were trying to be more like him, be more like the Lord. And so, we are called to go to those bad places. But also, if it's your own conviction, right? Like, if you know that God's like, you shouldn't hang out with those people, but you're like, well, I'll lead them to Jesus, like that kind of thing. Well, it's like, if he's telling you not to, like, it's, you shouldn't, it's your own conviction. What is he calling you to do? Like, is he calling you to, like, go to those demonic places and, whatever? It's just your own thing with him. It's your own plan. And that's one of the biggest things too. Like we said, like, pray for who you should be friends with, pray for who you shouldn't, pray for about, like, if you should hang out with these certain people, to lead them to Jesus or whatever you think you're doing with them. Like, we need that discernment. Right.
And I mean, like, it's the surroundment too, right? Like, we should not only stay in the church.
Yeah.
Because that's like we can't just stay in our little friend group of Christians, right? We can't just stay in our church service, right?
Yeah.
We have to go outside of that, because there's many people who don't know Jesus, right? Who don't have that friend group. So those should be the main places, right? You should be mainly around those Christian friends, right?
Yeah.
Mainly going to church, right? Having that community around you that's going to be speaking that life to you when the hatred, right? When all that stuff's, when they're trying to throw that at you, you say, no, I know my foundation.
Yeah. And you don't even need, like, if you're in school, literally just, doing those kind of things at school. If you're at work, you don't need to go on a mission trip to, like, do that kind of thing, And another thing, like, Jesus definitely prioritized his relationship with God, like, above everything else. And that's one of the things that was the reason he stayed grounded in what his foundation,
Oh, yeah.
Pastor Mike talked about on Sunday, I don't remember what verse it was, but it was like Jesus went away to pray, like, as he was accustomed to, like, as he always did. He went back to pray. He went back to his quiet time with his Father to recharge himself, to be able to go into the world and preach the gospel.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, so it's just, once again, having that community, right? But also being out there, making sure people know the love of Jesus.
Yeah.
So it's so important, and I can't stress it enough, that you got to have those close friendships, those relationships that are going to be leading you closer to Christ.
Yeah.
And also, just going out and bringing people to those groups that know Jesus, right? So, for example, like Bible study, I love, I encourage people to bring their friends, right? Because it's like, you don't have to be a Christian to go to Bible study. Like, that's a place where we can grow, where we can learn. And, like, I'm so open to people, like, being like, hey, come to this Christian group. I want you guys to feel the love of Christ. And so, yeah, I mean, not staying in our own little friend groups, right?
Yeah.
But going outside of that.
Yeah, and part of, like, going back to the thing of kind of, like, how to find biblical friends, like, if you are attending a church, get involved in those kind of things. Get involved in the Bible study. Get involved in different small groups, like that kind of thing. Like, you also have to do the work, to find the people. Like, I saw this video once. It was more of like a relationship, like romantic kind of thing, but it was like how Christian introverts want Jesus to bring their spouse to them, and they like knock on the door. He's probably not going to do that. Like, you have to get out, you have to get yourself involved. Like we said, like, you will be in situations where you can make friends, but you have to also be the one to initiate sometimes.
Yeah.
And praying for that boldness and discernment. And just pray.
Right. No, prayer is so huge.
Yeah.
Right, in every situation.
We say it like every time, but like it's so true. It's such a good reminder.
Like, yeah, guys, literally
the power of prayer.
Pray. Just pray, literally.
And if you have other people, mentors or whatever that you can ask for wisdom, in the Bible, there's a million different stories that you can learn from. Like, there's so many things you can do.
Yeah. You know what's so cool though is, like, if you guys ever get the chance, right? Those of you listening, if you get a chance to go to like a camp or a convention, those groups where a whole bunch of Christians like gather and they just like they worship or they like pray together and things like that. Yeah. It's awesome. I went to a my AIM like meeting or whatever. So basically I'm going on an AIM trip to El Salvador this summer, and I like was able to meet my friend group or the friends that are going to be there, and they're all great people, and it was awesome. We got to sit together in a circle and we just prayed. Like we barely even knew a lot of each other, and we just prayed for like 30 minutes, and we got to know each other, and it's so like encouraging to be in those situations, right? Yeah. To find those people. So that's why it's so important to go to things like camp, go to NYC, different things like that, because you get to meet those people, right? And they encourage you so much. Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, like you barely even knew each other, but when you're surrounded in that really God-centered community, like you don't even have to know each other, but you can be like connected to one another, like had just built that friendship off of Jesus, like you were all praying together, like it was great. You didn't even know each other, but it didn't matter because you all loved Jesus so much, and like that's what was starting the friendship. That was what was connecting you guys, like just like that kind of thing. Like when you first start out meeting people, if you both love Jesus, like it shouldn't be that hard to grow together and grow the friendship. Yeah.
So I mean, literally just being around those people, so encouraging too. I was around this like group of time as like camp, and it's a group of these like random guys. Okay, none of us knew each other, right? There's 4 of us guys. We're all Christians, and we go into this little like group thing. Like we just like say, "What's up, bro?" I don't even remember what we're talking about. We're talking about some stupid thing, and we're just like we said something. One of the guys said something, and we're just like, one of the guys in there was just like, "Oh, let's pray for it." Yeah. And he's like, "No, we're not going to like be like, oh, we're like, I'll pray for that." Like he's just like, "No, let's pray for it." Yeah. And so we gather in a circle and we're just praying over this. And I was like, dude, like finding those people that encourage you to do things like that. Like I'm telling you, when you're around those people who have had that relationship with God, right? Especially those youth, right? Because you look at you're like, hey, you're another youth and you love Jesus. And then when they're in a farther relationship with God, they know more.
It's so encouraging.
And then you see them and they give you all these ideas. You're like...
It motivates you. Like, I feel motivated, like, to, like, continue to deepen my relationship with God when, like, we're around that people or those kind of people. And maybe you're that person for someone else. Like, you don't know. Like... Just like be open to letting God use you and bring you wherever He needs you, wherever you feel led to go. Like He has good plans. Right. He has good plans, guys.
Oh my gosh! And guys, I encourage you, if you are on that walk with God, right? You're on that like trying to find those friends,
friendship
or you even
journey.
Found those friends, right? We talked about how God has good plans, right?
Don't stay in that circle either. Yeah.
Yep. Not staying in that circle, and also. Like journaling, right? I was kind of talking about that earlier, right? How it's helped me. But guys, there's so many. I wish I journaled so much more in my life. Yeah. But because I think looking back at that, it will be so helpful. You'll be like, at that moment in my life, I wasn't sure what was going to happen. And
but now
you're like, wow, God has brought me from there. Yeah. Man, so.
And even just having those people, maybe you've grown together. Maybe you were both in a bad place, but now, like, you're both in a thriving relationship with God. Like, just, like, being able to look at them, then look at you, be like, look at where we were. Like, look at us now. Like,
yeah, it's amazing. God works in so many awesome ways. Yeah. And, some, like, times where He's just, like, getting to a point where, you're in a deep, bad, down situation, and that's where he sometimes can have the most impact. And we're actually going to be talking about that in our next episode, so stay tuned, guys. We have a very, very special guest.
Our first guest.
Yes, our first guest. You guys will love him. And so, yeah, I encourage you guys to stay tuned. Whatever you're listening on, to follow us.
Yeah.
And to make sure to have the notifications on, because we try to drop one at least once a month. So.
Yeah. Yeah, the next episode will be great. Our first special guest. Really diving into, how people around you, when you are in that deep, dark place, like how the good community around you will help you and uplift you and stuff like that.
Totally. So yeah, stay tuned, guys. So let's...
Yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in and joining us today.
I'm Ty.
I'm Lily.
And remember to be led by the Word.
And not by the world.
And we'll see you guys next time on the Youth POV podcast.